Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Mias, and today I'm actually going to be discussing Effect Veiler and Infinite Impermanence, so I'll try to see which one is the best, which one you should get. And of course, before I start, friendly reminder to like and subscribe because it motivates me a lot to keep making videos like these. And yeah, so first of all, they actually both have very similar effects because they are both hand traps that kind of fulfill the same role. They both negate a monster effect on the field. Effect Veiler is a level 1 light spellcaster that actually has to be sent from the hand to the graveyard. Very specifically, that's the cost. And then negate a face-up monster your opponent controls during during your opponent's main phase only. This lasts until the end phase. Infinite, on the other hand, is proactive, so you can use it just at any time during either player's turn, but only when you control no cards. And it also has a bonus effect where if you actually set it prior and then you flip it, you negate every spell and trap that that actually activates on the same column. So even if you actually used Infinite in that column, if you yourself actually activate like something in the same column you used Infinite before, it will get negated. So it is actually kind of a double-edged sword, but most of the time you're just using it to hinder your opponent. So this is actually more of a bonus, but we're going to cover this later on. So starting with Effect Veiler, what are the huge pros that this card has that Infinite, doesn't have? Well, first of all, it's a level 1, which means that you can make Relinquished Anima. It is a tuner, meaning that you can make Needle Fiber. Needle Fiber can summon another Effect Veiler, which can make Celine, since it is a spellcaster. Celine can actually bring back Effect Veiler from the graveyard. I mean, if you have like 3 or more spells, if there are 3 or more spells in each player's like field and graveyard, and then you can make like maybe Axis Code Talker with 5200 attack, pop a lot of cards. 52 or 53? I forgot. A lot. And then pop multiple cards with, Celine, Needle Fiber, and probably something else. And that's actually pretty nice. The fact that a single hand trap can do that, if you have Kaijus with Effect Veiler and you're on like super simplified game state, you can Kaiju your opponent on column number 2 or 4, and then make a Relinquished Anima, and then you kind of turn the really bad normal summon into, well, literally a vanilla monster, into something that might have 3300 attack, and start jumping over other stuff. So in a really, really simplified game state, Effect Veiler might actually shine a lot. And once again, it is actually a light attribute, meaning that it can be discarded off of Galaxy Soldier, and it does fuel the light requirement for Invoked Merkaba, and is also a non-dinosaur monster in case you kind of need it for Double Evolution Pill. Infinite is a trap card, so unfortunately, you obviously can't do that. Now, there are also a lot of flaws to Effect Veiler. First of all, it's a monster, which means that it loses to Appaloosa, Called by the Grave. It turns on 3 tactical talents, which I hate. You can't even attempt to use the card through Herald. It's not even like you could go, okay, I'll negate a Herald and then I'll Nibiru you. You can't even attempt to do that because you do have to send the card from your hand to the graveyard for cost. And Herald is kind of like a Macrocosmos, but only from the hand and the main deck. And that just kind of turns off like literally every hand trap. And Herald is super, super popular right now because of Needle Fiber and Link Cross, which is super frustrating, by the way. I hate this. And it's just super annoying. And also another thing, it can only be used during your opponent's main phase, so if you top deck it for turn, it's 100% useless. I believe you only have a 33.76% chance of opening this in your opening 5, which is bad. I mean, it would have been really cool if you could actually top deck it as your 6th card and actually kind of do something with it, but the fact that you don't actually need to have no other cards on your field to use it might actually just be decent too. I mean, if you have like a full established board, you can keep this in your hand. If you get Lightning Stormed, at least you still have this, whereas Infinite, if you get Lightning Stormed, you lose your Infinite, so it's kind of bad. Anyways, moving on into Infinite Impermanence. So obviously it's a normal trap card, and the first thing that I say every time I talk about a normal trap card is Trap Trick. Trap Trick is a pretty good card because it allows you to search pretty much any normal trap card in your deck. Not really search from your deck to your hand, but when I say search, I mean any method of accessing the card in a practical way. So you actually set the card directly from your deck to the field, and you can use it this turn. However, you are locked under 1 trap card only. So Infinite, are you going to trap trick into this very often? Most of the time, no. The main usage of Infinite is really as a hand trap and also as a card that you can top deck for turn, maybe negate stuff like VFD, which is a huge advantage that this card has. I believe this time you have a 39.43% chance of drawing this just in your opening 6, because even if you don't draw it in your opening 5, it's fine. You have a 5.76% chance. Is it 5.67? Oh, I don't know my maths by heart. Obviously, it's like hypergeometric distribution. I'm not gonna waste my time calculating this myself. I'm just gonna use a pretty nifty application. It's not really an application, it's a website. I'm going to link it off into the description below. But yeah, I just really like the fact that this is actually just a pretty live card more often than not. It's not a monster, so it doesn't actually turn on Appaloosa, 3 tactical talents, Called by the Grave. It kind of allows you to negate Herald and then Nibiru if they don't have anything else. Might actually be a problem if they also have Appaloosa on top of that, but you know, at this point, if you actually have like Appaloosa and Herald before you actually start doing your like actual combo, well, congratulations, you deserve a standing ovation. I can't do anything. You might as well just take the win. There is also like another extremely important thing that I do have to mention with the card. The fact that you can top deck it like late game and use it to negate floodgates is actually gigantic. So this has happened to me quite often in the past, and sometimes even with Trap Trick. Like, they actually have, you know, let's just say, man, now Skill Drain would be a terrible example. There can only be one. You can Trap Trick into Infinite, or you can just top deck it and then set it in front and then use it, and it's like a 2-in-1 kind of situation. I think it's really cool. And once again, by the way, Infinite and Valor, both of them aren't once per turn, so that's why there might be hesitation between which one is the clear winner. But unfortunately, my next argument might kind of convince you that there is no real winner, simply because of the fact that you might actually have to do a lot of sacrifices. Moving on into the cons of Infinite, the card is actually quite very expensive. In Canadian dollars, this card is worth roughly 40 bucks, so if you want to play set, it's almost 120, which is basically 12 times more expensive than Effect Veiler at like least, which is a bit too much, because it's really not like Infinite did infinitely more than Veiler. Ha ha ha, extremely funny, LMAO. I mean, if you're paying 40 bucks or 120 for the artwork of Infinity, I mean, why not, you know, especially since my logo and pretty much everything that I do is using Infinite Impermanence as the logo, in case you didn't actually realize it yet. Not everyone has an IQ of 12 billion. You probably do, though. If you're watching my videos, it means that you are a smart guy, and I actually congratulate you. But yeah, no, Infinite, it's also not a monster, which is good and bad at the same time. You can't actually turn this into, like, anything. You can't link off with it. It's used solely to hinder your opponent and not really advance your own game state. Effect Veiler, there has been numerous, like, combos, ooh, oh my god, combos, situations where just being able to use it as a monster actually made a tiny bit of a difference. I mean, even in Odd Eyes, people were actually maybe sometimes normal summoning this and then like synchroing off with something and then make a level 8 synchro. That rarely happened, but in Brandish, people actually usually go normal summon Veiler or something, normal summon Ash, and then use, you know, like some other Ray or Kagari or something, make Needle Fiber, and then you know this is access code, and this usually leads to the OTK. Not to mention that this is actual garbage to draw like mid-combo, or after a card like maybe Zodiac Thoroblade. Normal summon, discard 1 Zodiac, draw 1 card. Ah, Infinite. Shit. I have a card on my field now. Whoops. Yeah. Well, this is the situation where Forbidden Chalice is kind of better, because it fulfills the exact same role of just negating a monster effect, but it's a bit more flexible because it's hard to kind of play through, like, around a Forbidden Chalice, but it's easy to play through Infinite when you are aware that it exists. For example, VFD, during my opponent's standby, I'll just do nothing at all, and as soon as he puts 1 card on the field, instantly VFD right off the bat. Unless I'm scared of Gamma, in which case I will also wait until he summons a monster. Then I can play around Gamma and Infinite at the same time, and this is why both cards kind of have the exact same flaw in a way, if you can understand what I'm trying to say. Anyways, that's basically all I had to say for Infinite Impermanence against Effect Veiler discussion video. If you guys have any comments or feedback, let me know in the comment section below. Also, if you want to suggest me maybe another like topic, maybe another card to review, another something versus something, I will try to do these series a bit more often, because I do think they are quite, I mean, not necessarily super interesting or relevant, but they actually do have the potential to be relevant, especially if you are new to the game and you actually really want to understand why people are sometimes playing X card over Y card. And yeah, that's basically it. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you very soon. Thank you and peace.